With or without him, we're ready here.
We're
Look
here.
at him. He's just arrived here at the home of Arsenal, Emirates Stadium. Look at him.
Still look good as well.
Woollard, I'm Nick Callow. Welcome to Arsenal v Southampton, the pre-match build-up show. And I'm sure a lot of you will maybe already know some big news here for Arsenal, that Granit Xhaka is out. Granit Xhaka is injured and misses tonight's match against Southampton. Charlie, I mean, you just arrived at the stadium. What's the reaction amongst the Arsenal fans and people in the stadium?
To be fair, I heard that he was ill. That's what I've heard today. He might be injured, but it's still a massive miss in the midfield. And to replace him is Fabio Vieira, a player that Mikel Arteta, since he's arrived, has put a lot in trust into Vieira because he's still quite young. Yeah. But the problem was with Fabio Vieira is he's quite skinny, and the Premier League's a very physical league. So, and there's a lot of experience on the bench as well. One of them being Jorginho, who knows exactly what it's like to win games. And to drop him out and put Vieira in takes a lot of risk tonight.
I think a lot of people might have thought Jorginho would have come in instead of him. But as we have come to understand that Vieira is a player that Mikel Arteta really rates very highly. He's given him increasingly more minutes in recent months. It's a bit chilly here, Charlie, as well. There's a bit of wind blowing.
The wind's picking up. That's why the coat's here today. I was just going to wear the quarter zip, but the coat has come out, and for good reason. But tonight is Friday night football. It's been quite a while since Friday night football.
It's the first time in the history of football since ever that Arsenal and Southampton played each other on a Friday night. I guess we haven't had a lot of
history in the making. I was going to say history in the making.
You know,
but Southampton, we spoke about this last week when Arsenal played West Ham about it being a high pressure game for Arsenal. But let me tell you something: the travelling Saints fans will know exactly how pressurising this game is going to be. They sit currently dead bottom. It is top versus bottom today.
I know. You don't often get that, do you?
No, you don't really often get that, and especially everything's first for everything tonight, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, Arsenal first, Southampton bottom, and I believe they're about 4 points or 5 points off the safety. So tonight, a massive 3 points.
Anyone out there thinks Southampton can win this game or get a draw? Bearing in mind, Arsenal have drawn the last two games 2-2, having been 2-0 up.
If it's 2-2 again, then someone's got to have had a bet on that. But let's have a look at the comments. Shout out to everybody joining the live stream. We hope you are well. Let us know where you're watching as well from around the world. As James has kindly put there, he's from Nigeria. So shout out to you. I'm sure the weather is a lot better in Nigeria than it is right here.
Yeah, it's a weird April we're having
here in London. Arsenal 3-0. James says 3-0 as well. Carrie says 3-2.
Yeah. Plenty
of goals always. So.
I'll tell you what, Charlie, while we were waiting for, there's a lot of traffic and issues going on outside the stadium tonight, which we won't bore you with. But we had Jonathan coming over with a 4-0 prediction earlier. Daniel there wants us to ask Arteta some questions. I'll tell you what, let us know where you're watching from, what you think it's going to be. And also, if you've got any questions for the managers, because Charlie and I will do our best to get your questions in front to Mikel Arteta and to the Southampton boss too, because we know that means a lot to you as well. We'll give you a shout out in the comments. And
let me tell you something as well, Nick. I think after the game, one manager is going to be a lot happier than the other, because sometimes a draw could mean both managers will be okay. But when it comes to the run-in, a point isn't good enough for the top, but it's good at the bottom, and a loss for the top is good for the bottom. So it really is very much swings and roundabouts tonight. But I'm expecting the crowd to be pretty loud tonight, Friday night as well.
I mean, Mikel Arteta's called upon a huge Friday for a huge Friday night atmosphere. He doesn't want anyone feeling negative about the 2-2 draws against Liverpool and West Ham. He wants all the Arsenal fans to think about this match. They've got to get a win and then go to Manchester City next Wednesday with a chance to defend the lead at the top of the table, not having sort of thrown it away. Southampton fans must be thinking, well, do you know what? Arsenal are a little bit wobbly at the moment.
Definitely.
Maybe this is a great time to play Arsenal.
And speaking of that, a question to you, Nick, and also a question to everybody in the chat. Are Arsenal starting to feel that pressure now?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of Arsenal fans I spoke to said the Liverpool game should sort of be a semi-write-off. A 2-2 isn't bad considering Arsenal haven't won this since 2012, I believe. So, and Mikel Arteta was funny enough in that team when we did win. So, and it's quite funny enough that is the pressure starting to show for Arsenal? Because 2-2 against West Ham, no disrespect to West Ham at all, but maybe.
I would say, can you say yes and no to that question? Because the way they've started these games at Liverpool and West Ham, they've been playing some world-class football to get 2-0 front with no nerveless football.
Like a training pitch as such.
But then there's definitely something going on in the collective mentality. I think maybe they're thinking, we've got it easy, but we'll just hold back for the next match. Remember, Mikel Arteta's press conference was up at the training ground yesterday. Someone says, are your players switching off? Are they saved themselves for that big match against Manchester City? And Mikel said, they better not be, otherwise they won't be playing against Manchester City.
That's the thing, they could by the time it gets to Manchester City. it might well be, well, a loss tonight, for example, or drop points tonight means City are going to be closing the gap. Remember, they do have 2 games in hand.
2 games in hand after tonight, and they're in the FA Cup semi-final tomorrow,
which I'll be at, and it will be live as well tomorrow at Wembley. So make sure you are.
I won't be there, but I will be
that.
tuning in to watch Charlie, and you're with James.
James tomorrow, yeah. Speaking of James, another James has said Saka goal and assist tonight. Also says Jesus goal. Jesus as well. I think it's great to mention because ever since he's come back from that big injury, he's been well at it in terms of goals and assists, and he's been a real threat for Arsenal since he's come back.
And Arsenal managed to maintain that lead at the top of the table without him. They've looked a much better team with him since he's been back, even though they haven't won the last couple of games. But they haven't lost them.
They haven't. And there's one player that has been quite quiet the last couple of games, and that is Bukayo Saka, a man that has been probably Arsenal's player of the season as such. The only Arsenal player to have over 10 goals and 10 assists all season, which is a massive credit to himself being the age of the years. But he has been a fair, quiet man the last 2 games, missing that crucial penalty at West Ham last week, which he will be looking tonight to answer back.
Well, Mikel Arteta said, is he going to take the penalties again? He said, I'll tell you what, even if he's wobbly, I'm going to run on the pitch and I'm going to give him the ball to make sure he takes the penalty because he's got so much trust in the Arsenal staff. It was the first penalty he missed for Arsenal. The last penalty he missed, funny enough, was the Euro final, which of course was a massive moment, but he hasn't actually missed a penalty until... It was a poor, he didn't even hit the target. So it was a poor penalty. But let's go back to the comments for a second. And then I'll give you the team lineup.
Yes, that's an important one. Arsenal can win with more goals. That has been that's a good one to speak on. For example, Hassan, Arsenal haven't really struggled for goals. No, that's the good thing. 4-1s and 3s. Plenty of goals. But let's get to the team news. The most important thing as well in these pre-match live streams. So we're going to go with the Arsenal lineup. There is, of course, as we mentioned at the start, one big change in this starting 11.
And there's also an important player coming back as
I was going to say there could be 2 here. So Aaron Ramsdale in goal as ever. It's Ben White, Gabriel, Rob Holding, and Alexander Zinchenko, who is back in the starting 11, which is a massive boost for Arsenal, but maybe a bit of disappointment for Kieran Tierney, who actually, in my personal opinion, had a quite a good game at West Ham, especially in the first half. And he began to show that he could play in the Arteta sort of system, the slightly inverted fullback. So. But he'll be gutted. He is on the bench tonight. But continue with Arsenal starting 11. As always, Martin Odegaard, the skipper, in that midfield with Thomas Partey, and that big shock was obviously Granit Xhaka being out, Fabio Vieira I in that midfield. Right. The understanding is that it's an illness and not any other serious injury. That news was circulating around the press room, sort of whether an injury or an illness. Probably is more like an illness. Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, and Bukayo Saka. I mean, that's a very frightening front three, and if they can combine for some goals tonight, I think we're going to be looking for some exciting attacking football. But let's go to Southampton's lineup. Gavin Bassano in goal, Kyle Walker-Peters in enemy territory, former Spurs man, a very high-rated man as well as Southampton, quality player. James Ward-Prowse, the skipper, Adam Armstrong, Rahman Peroud, Mohamed Elanusi, Carlos Alcaraz, by the way, a very talented striker. Like a tennis player as well. Yes, he is, the Spaniard. One player who's back in the Emirates, back at the Arsenal, Theo Walcott, who should get a good reception tonight. Just a quick mention for Theo Walcott. What a great servant he was for that. He's also become the first player in all football, another first, to make 150 Premier League appearances at this stadium. Wow. That's a stat for him. That's a great stat. What that means, I don't know. But he should get a good reception here tonight. I remember watching Theo being a long time ago. So for Arsenal, scored over 100 goals. Brilliant player he was. Jan Bednarek, Bella Kochap, he is great. And Romeo Lavia. No massive Diallo maybe on the bench. And Aribo and Orsic could cause some problems off the bench for Southampton. Arsenal's bench as well. He's a good player, he is. Kieran Tierney on the bench, Smith Rowe, Eddie Nketiah again on the bench, Leandro Trossard, Jorginho, Reece Nelson. There's some real good talent on the bench for both sides. But Arsenal will definitely be looking to hopefully get the job done before these substitutes come on. And the referee tonight? The referee tonight is Simon Hooper. Simon Hooper. Sounds like a basketball player. Do we know Simon Hooper? I don't know what his form is, but... I think the Arsenal fans don't like... what referee do they not like? Mike Dean. Mike Dean. All referees, probably. But, so the cheers behind us. You can hear, if you can hear now, the Arsenal players... coming out to our right now. That's a bit late. I believe they're coming out a bit late, in my opinion. It's like 20 past now. Just gone 20 past 7 here in North London. Maybe they were stuck in a bit of traffic as well. The Southampton players are over your shoulder as well, Charlie. Big squad. And alongside, I don't know if you can see, probably not, it's a bit bright with the glare. Alongside the pitch there, all the broadcasters from around the world doing their match previews.
Kevin Campbell, the ex-Arsenal player there. The Sky Sports there with Gary Neville.
And our very own Rodrigo Lara on there as well.
Rodrigo Lara of HaytersTV fame down pitch side doing some stuff for Mexico Paramount TV special. So that's
let's get back to the comments. Tommy says, thoughts on Vieira start? Would you have picked ESR? I think that's a good shout, but personally, I think Jorginho maybe would be the better option for that position. Yeah. I think we like to see Smith throw a bit more further forward, but Jorginho, I think, is probably
some Arsenal coffee while I ponder my answer on that, because it's a very nice Arsenal coffee.
It is very well. It's very good. Gary says 5-0. Tommy 4-1. 4-1 as well. Chase says 3-0. There's a lot of big score lines. That's the thing we were saying. Arsenal really don't lack in goals, which is a massive. And
Tommy Didads, if that's his real name, Tommy Didads says Paul Tierney is the referee that he doesn't like.
I think that is
not Kieran Tierney's dad or brother, uncle.
Hoogie says 6-0.
6-0, Gero.
Big one.
Well,
that is a big one. Big scoreline.
I'll tell you what, Gero. Come down here after. We'll give you a program and a free drink if you get that one right.
Do you mean to tell you the last time Arsenal got 6 against Southampton? I've got good memory.
Yeah,
Lucas Podolski scored an absolute world of a free kick, and I think it was 6-1. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I remember it because I was here as a fan a long time ago. Lucas Podolski, what a player. Beauty of the left foot.
We've got people tuning in from Jamaica as well. Whereabouts in Jamaica are you? I had my honeymoon in Jamaica. Love Jamaica.
You?
Yeah,
wow.
My wife's mum's from Jamaica.
Wow.
Love a bit of the Jamaica.
Come on, Southampton.
Win, says the Overlord of Procrastination. Original music. Now, that is an unusual name.
That is.
I've never had one of them in my class.
It's a must win, which he is not wrong. He is not wrong for Arsenal. But let's be right
for Southampton either.
Exactly. And speaking of Southampton, we've got a Southampton fan in the chat. N Statham, thank you so much for joining. 3-0 Southampton. Wow, what a scoreline that would be. 3 Ward-Prowse free kicks.
Well, it couldn't have to be, or penalties. Arsenal giving away a lot of free kicks and penalties at the moment, aren't they?
Every time we do these live streams, we do like to speak about both teams as such, because Southampton, especially James Ward-Prowse, a man that could be on his way out at the end of the season, linked with the likes of West Ham, which I think he'd fit in quite well. But of course, the Southampton fans, let us know as well in the chat. Of course, want to see him in that red and white shirt by the end of the season. But whether he's going to be in the Premier League or the Championship, who knows? And what do you think of Southampton's running as well as such?
I think, as much as I like Southampton as a club, I like going down to St Mary's. They've got some attractive players. It's a good part of the Premier League sort of setup. But I think they're down, don't you? I really do think they're down. I'll be really, really surprised if they get a win tonight. A draw is not good enough for them.
And
they have to win here. And I can't see this Arsenal team losing, even without Xhaka, even without Saliba, even without Tomiyasu. I think it's just too big a task. They haven't won it for about 30 years or something. It's a terrible record against Arsenal.
And that's, unfortunately, people can say stats don't always tell a whole story of a game as such. But when it comes to coming in bad form as well, it doesn't really bode well for Southampton tonight. But again, they can pose a threat with some of the players they've got on the pitch.
Coming back there, and let's see, Arsenal are said to be a bit wobbly at the moment.
And it's a big pressure game for Arsenal.
It's a big pressure game. I'll be interested to see if the crowd is really up for it or if they're a bit nervous. That could dictate how things go a bit. But if Arsenal get off to a flyer and get 2-0 up, then they haven't got a chance. What they need to do is let Southampton score and then start playing.
And that's the funny thing about it's the beauty of the Premier League. It's why we love it, because you go 2-0 up and it isn't always going to lead to 3 points, is it? So, and that's what we love about it. Let's go back to the chat. Terrell says, what if it's another 2-2 draw?
Yeah, well, what about it, Terrell?
If it's another 2-2 draw, I think everybody will be calling the season off now, saying the luck is over.
What if it's a 2-2 draw tonight and then a 2-2 draw at Manchester City next week?
It's over. No, as in, like, someone's got to be having a bet on this. This is crazy. Arsenal win 3, Bukayo brace, and what a massive opportunity for Bukayo to send a message to any of the doubters he's had in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think it's a big night for Bukayo. I will actually back him to score a goal tonight. Yeah. If I was a betting man.
Speaking of scoring and the score prediction.
Okay, well, I'm going to go bold tonight. I'm going to say 4-1 to Arsenal. I mean, there's back of my mind, I got the last one. I got the 2-2 right against West Ham on Sunday.
I was very far off. Very far. I got the first goal scorer. didn't get as far as that. But who's going to be on the score sheet tonight? You said Bukayo Saka. Anybody else?
I think Bukayo Saka get a couple. I think I can see Leandro Trossard. I'll tell you what, Fabio Vieira. And Theo Walcott for Southampton.
Wow. That'd be a weird one, wouldn't it?
Walcott open it up for Southampton. And then Fabio Vieira. Saka will hit back. Then Vieira. Who else did I say?
That was it. Saka 2, Vieira 2. And
someone
Trossard.
else? Trossard, there you go. When he
there we
comes
go.
off the bench,
Wow.
as he inevitably will.
He
Get
had it.
pass from Kieran Tierney, and
that's it.
I mean, there's almost not much point watching the match now, is there? Let's face it. But there is a point coming back onto HaytersTV afterwards, because Charlie and I are going to be in the press conference room, which is just
down below us.
I don't know. I'm pointing down towards my fingers. But there's the media centre just below us in the press box here. We'll be there filming the press conference. We'll have the managers up there, their reactions, any special questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to ask them for you if we get a chance. No guarantees, but we'd love to know what you want to be talking. If you were here, what would you ask the managers? So,
but keep
Charlie,
those.
did we get your prediction, by the way?
No, I'm saving it. Right, I'm going to go for a 2-0. 2-0 Arsenal. 2-0 to Arsenal tonight.
Oh.
I think we're going to see another quick start. 1-0 in maybe the opening 15 minutes. A bit of nerves towards maybe the later stages of the game, and I think the Arsenal get a sort of the killer goal to kill the game off.
Towards the end.
Yeah, but I honestly know Southampton haven't been in the best form. I might be wrong, but I feel like they're going to pose a lot of threat tonight.
And it's a bit of, as I said, a bit of a windy night tonight. It's quite light and bright, but it's windy, and that sort of can level it out a bit in terms of conditions.
Just having a look quickly down here. I just see Mohamed El Nene by the tunnel. Arsenal faithful. I heard a quote from El Nene actually the other day. Before we finish, by the way, we have got to shoot in about 5 minutes. But El Nene said that he couldn't join another club, and when he joined Arsenal, he had no plans of leaving. He's what I like to call him. He's a bit like N'Golo Kante. He's one of the happiest men in football.
Yeah.
Every time you see him, he's got a smile on his face, whether he's playing or whether he's not. So yeah, massive shout out to Mohamed El Nene. But like I was saying with Southampton, Nick, I think tonight they'll pose a lot of threat, and I'll tell you why. Because these games towards the end of the season, when they need 3 points, a win here tonight can really send a message to their opposing teams that are also near the bottom.
Yeah, and we've seen so many weird results. About those, you write off these. We wrote off Bournemouth, wright off Forest, and they suddenly come up with the
big 3
win
points.
or big draw. And
but I lost here tonight.
They were back, and then they're losing, and it's just. But we're both predicting an Arsenal win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of the most obvious.
It is the most obvious outcome, but again, this is the Premier League. Anything can happen. This is why we watch it. So make sure you are subscribed. Drop a like if you are a future viewer.
The last one coming in here is Wemba Issa. It says Arsenal 2, Southampton 1.
Similar to mine.
So,
Goal for Southampton.
That's why I normally go for a 2-1. But
well, Arsenal haven't really been good at keeping clean sheets at home, especially. Been a lot of silly goals conceded. But yes, guys, make sure you please subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell so you're alerted to any videos we post, especially the post-match reactions from both managers here this evening. And thank you so much for tuning in.
Join Charlie at Wembley tomorrow for the FA Cup semi-final.
And we're live again on Sunday as well. I won't be here for the other semi, Brighton-Manchester United. A big weekend of football, and it is starting here tonight. Arsenal against Southampton, 8 p.m. kickoff. From myself and Charlie and Nick, goodbye.
See you later. There we go.